All right, I ain't doing no intro because we already running late. So this is the we just doing another special episode of Big Book Bros. You can we call whatever. If y'all follow me on social media, y'all know we doing some rants. So I'm Big Mike. That's Country Rican Danny Boy, and then we're gonna do what we're gonna do, and we're gonna start with this rant. Okay. So a lot of people, if you come on here, we're gonna talk about anything, and then you'll just follow along with us if you want. And then my biggest concern right now that I want to talk about ranting, quarantine got me jacked up. I'm feeling sick, and that was really been getting on me. Yeah, I know, right? Was really been getting on me. A lot of people they want to be watching movies, they want to do TV shows. I've been binge watching a whole heck of a stuff, but people be asking me, they're like, "Man, you got to watch some DC movies." I said I really don't watch a lot of DC movies. The last DC movie I seen was The Joker, back when it came out in 2019. And so they was like, "Nah, you gotta watch some old, a lot of older DC movies." And then they like, "Y'all need to watch the Batman movies again." I was like, "Which one y'all talking about?" So our previous stream, a lot of people was hearing me about talking about The Dark Knight, why I love it so much, especially with my rants and what's going on. And then a couple people on Twitter, you gotta love Twitter. They were like, "You gotta watch the Batman versus Superman," because he's like, "That's one of the best one with the best DC film, the 2016." I said, "Oh," I said, "No." So
Wow.
this is my rant. Yeah,
Wow.
this is my rant with the Batman versus Superman DC film, because a lot of people was like it was too ahead of its time. People like they get it gets not enough love. People like, "Oh, people just being dramatic," and then they was like, without the Batman versus Superman movie, they was like there wasn't gonna be no DC universe. There wasn't gonna be no Wonder Woman, no Aquaman, and no upcoming movies coming on. I said okay. I said all right. So I did my little bit of research, and I said I'm gonna put my opinions on it. So if y'all got problems, you already know y'all can leave. You ain't gonna watch this. Y'all should already know how I feel about it, especially when it comes with DC. So if y'all want to get on me, so I just been pent up this past week, man. It's been crazy. Like I said, I was feeling a little under the weather these past couple of days. Had to go shopping, had to wear this mask, and I wasn't feeling it. But now. So you can cut me off whenever you want to, or you can just chime in what you want. But if you want, I'm gonna start you off
You
this
just
real
go
quick.
ahead.
The budget for the Batman versus Superman film, the budget was about around $300 million. On their first week, their first box office opening weekend, oh shoot, they made about $160 million, which was amazing. Try to make about almost half of the product. But then on their second week in the worldwide premiere, they made a total about $422 million. And that's their second week when the movie came out. So a lot of people was like, "Oh, they still made a lot of, they still made lots of millions of dollars." They was like they went above their budget. They didn't break even. So that's my first thing. It was a box office flop. The opening weekend was amazing. The second week it was terrible, because it was the worldwide. The second was like the worldwide premieres and everything else. Danny, when we tell you how bad this was, this they had a percentile of how drastically it dropped. The second week when the Batman versus Superman movie came out, it dropped by reviews and screening by 81%. That is more than half of people who did not want to see the movie worldwide, and it hurt me. It really hurt me. So especially me as a comic book fan, cartoon, I just love comic book anime, anything, film related too, because I love to be in filmography. I love it all. When I first saw that movie, first of all, when I saw that movie, I had already sprained my ankle, so I had a cast. So I had to sit uncomfortably the whole hour and a half when I had to watch that movie in the first place. That's my little bad memory. Second was the plot. And then my third was definitely the casting choice, because certain people should have not been certain characters. So I'm just gonna start rambling. I'm gonna go back and forth. I got people on here on the phone that's trying to message me. I'm gonna try to tell them to get online. So if I get a little distracted, my bad. Real quick, especially my rants, I do gotta give my shout outs. I need to give my shout outs to a monotone Kami, real good friend of mine that's been helping me out. Y'all need to keep and look him up on YouTube or on social media, because he's about to have some good product coming out with some clothing lines, and especially with some video games reviews and streaming. So I got to give a big shout out to Monotone Kami, and then I also got to give a shout out to Star Mike, because I love his art style. So the plot of the Batman versus Superman, what they try to do is they try to do some more of they try to do some Zack Snyder tried to do some more advanced than what people was trying to do with the Avengers, because the Avengers had a whole startup, and then they really had a semi major villain into the Avengers. So a lot of people, Avengers came out 2012. There was already movies with Marvel that has already been led up to the Avengers. You already had a little bit was going on with Thor. You had Iron Man that was already out. They even had the Incredible Hulk, but it wasn't the same actor because the Incredible Hulk came out back in 2007. Yeah, 2007 and 2004. But they keep changing the actors. So until they had Gruffalo on it. So they had a lineup. Marvel had a really good lineup. So you already know they always have good lineups, good phases, stuff like that. The DC cinematic universe does not have any structure. That is my biggest disappointment when it comes to their films and when they try to plot stuff out. So the Batman versus Superman was supposed to be the groundwork and the groundwork for again the DC cinematic universe. It was going to continue off from the Man of Steel back in 2014. And then the Man of Steel already had mixed reviews of how people didn't like the way they portrayed their Superman. They didn't like the violence. They didn't like, the actor, the acting. They just didn't like any of it. A lot of people just like no. So when they had Ben Affleck being the Batman, I mean, to be honest, if you ask me, he did a really good Batman. My biggest compliment when it came with Ben Affleck is that he actually had to put in the work to be in Batman, especially when it came with training, it became with all the stuff that he wanted to do to be Batman. How he execute him was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was the best Batman because I really don't have a top favorite for a live action movie Batman, but they did pretty well how they portrayed him. Bruce Wayne, I didn't care much for them. Of course, you got the the rich, the suave, the billionaire, this and that. But Ben Affleck just did a good Batman because he showed him doing the work, all the stuff that he wanted to do, and that's how that's just how they portrayed him. They already wanted to start it off, Batman having a grudge with Superman. Superman was destroying, Metropolis. People know him worldwide, and of course, Batman has the grudge, the hysteria. Like, hey, we shouldn't have him. We don't trust him. What's up, Alyssa? I'm gonna be ranting. I ain't gonna promote nothing right now on this stream, but they pretty set in point, put in that the basic rivalry with Batman and Superman. One thing that I did not like when I said when it came to acting in the cast was certain people should have not have gotten the roles that they should have, and especially the way they just wanted acting. That's all it said. You got a plot. A lot of people know Batman don't trust Superman. Superman don't trust Batman. It's the vigilante heroism. Da 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 da. My problem is why on this earth did these casting directors have Jesse Eisenberg play Lex Luthor and try to have him as the biggest mastermind between the whole plot of the Batman versus Superman? So a lot of people don't. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of Lex Luthor comics. There's not a lot about his solo series. A lot of people know about him. A lot of people know a little bit about him. He's Superman's arch nemesis, his rival. Da 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 da. The rich billionaire. He's always trying to get one step ahead. He wants to be control. He wants to take over Metropolis. He just wants to be the big evil bad guy. I love Jesse Eisenberg. He's a really good actor in plenty of movies. I like him in the Magician movies. Jesse Eisenberg, when he plays Lex Luthor, reminds me of a crack addict. Straight up. He reminds me of a crack addict because they had him flailing around. They had him acting so hyped up. I couldn't stand it. I could not stand Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor because that was not the character that I knew or grew up with. And I try to give DC a break because they don't want to do things repetitive, but they kind of bite themselves and shoot themselves in the foot. They want to do different characters. I understand. They want to do a different, movie portrayal of their characters. Completely cool. But having Jesse Eisenberg like he remind me of sociopath. Just this crazy man that's just fixated, just trying to get Superman down, just trying to break him down in the movies, just trying to get him, just trying to plot stuff. I was not feeling it. Because even a lot of people that they was talking about, they supposed to have the Joker and the Riddler in the Batman versus Superman movie, and then there was rumors going on with the casting director. They're supposed to have Jesse Eisenberg play the Riddler. If he played the Riddler, cool. I could see that totally happen. But they had him playing the sophisticated billionaire mastermind Lex Luthor, Alexander Luthor, and I couldn't stand it. Every time they had Lex Luthor on the scene, I was like, I was like, I was like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And then this the energy, it pissed me off. The energy just pissed me off because I was like, I couldn't stand it. I really couldn't stand it. So you know, Lex Luthor was, just plotting and trying to get Superman, in trouble, trying to destroy him, try to break down his morality, and then try to he just wanted a fight. He wanted Batman versus Superman. That's all he wanted. He wanted to pin them against each other, just try to do stuff. And then of course he had a big secret plan, which was to use General Zod's dead body to bring him back, and then try to make him in a weapon, and try to make General Zod into Doomsday. What the hell? I don't know what was going through the screenwriter's mind. I don't know what Zack Snyder was really thinking about. I don't know. I don't he's not the main writer. Of course he's one of the directors. I don't know what kind of really transpired into it. So, and of course, when you have a hero versus hero movie, there's always going to be a villain. There's always going to be a plot twist. There's always going to be stuff pulling up. But I think my biggest concern with it was they tried to, they only had really two villains. You had Lex Luthor, and of course you had Doomsday. There's plenty of little minor villains. There's plenty of minor stuff here and there, but the two biggest ones was Lex Luthor and Doomsday. If you would have asked me if what they could have cut out as a villain because it was supposed to be a Batman versus Superman, I would actually say you should have cut out the Doomsday because again with the Batman versus Superman, they try to put inspirations and ideas from the Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. That was one of the best graphic novels with Batman back in the. Did the Dark Knight Returns come out in the 80s? Did it come out in the 80s? 80s? I don't know. I want to say about the 80s. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But that's one of the classic graphic novels of Batman with the Dark Knight Returns. So they had inspirations of that. Then they had inspirations of like the Killing Joke. They had inspirations for different graphic novels that they wanted to do and show in, but it derailed. It derailed real bad, and I couldn't get into it. So like I said, you got Jesse Eisenberg acting so like a fanboy, acting so hyped up, acting so crazy, trying to get all this stuff going, trying to push a Superman to the edge, trying to get him to break down, trying to get him to fight Batman, and then his ideology was like only man should be versus man. Man's gonna be greater than the gods. It's man versus God. It's always gonna be a big conflict. This is all we're gonna do. So for him just to really start up a fight, especially with him kidnapping Superman's mama, and then try to blackmail him to fighting Batman. That made whole no sense. I just couldn't understand why they do that. And then another thing when it came to product and casting was one. I love these actors, I really do. But the role that they were put into, or the role that they had for them to portray, I think it could have been a whole lot better, and I think they could have just done something different. So, especially with Amy Adams as Lois Lane, I can't stand her. I can't stand the Lois Lane in the DCEU, the DC Cinematic Universe. I don't think they could have really captured her as much as you can, because especially Lois Lane, she is Superman's gal. You can do a lot what you want to do as her as a reporter, an investigator, a writer. There's been plenty of raw picture in the background. What you mean by that, Dark Justice? Um, when they try to portray her, especially in the Man of Steel, these showed her they really did try to capture her being curious about Superman, trying to figure stuff out. That's in her. Be the investigator, reporter. Everything was going good, but then when they started dating towards the end of the movie, and especially in the Batman versus Superman, you know Lois Lane will always kind of be the damsel under distress. The damsel under distress. I completely understand that they use that for plenty of plot points in any comic book history. Everybody knows about that. But one thing, if y'all watch that movie, The Batman versus Superman, count how many times Lois Lane Superman's Earth name. Count how many times she says Clark instead of Superman, and when they're in public. Count how many times you just kind of hear it where it's like, what are you doing? So I think she kind of forgets that the role that she's supposed to be, she got to hide the identity, the secret of Superman. She also got to be, accustomed with his, his life, what he got to do, especially, maintain a regular Earth job, being Clark Kent. But and I was watching the movie plenty of times, and when I kind of just see her, it was the automatic. She needs help. She needs help. I need to yell out for Clark. That's all she got to do, or she don't have to worry about anything because she knows Superman will always save her, and that's been pointed out plenty of times in the comics. Superman will always try to save her first. That's what he got to go to. That's how it be. So like I said, I love Amy Adams, but her portrayal, especially her just really whining, because I'm gonna say that she was just whining for help and attention for Clark, because you shouldn't be using your super, your real name when you're out in the public as a superhero. But she kept yelling that out in broad daylight and broad night. Just keep yelling out his name for help. That just threw me off. That just threw me off. So that movie was really trying to build in some tension, especially like I said, the Batman, got to face off against Superman. Superman got to face off against Batman. What they're going to do to stop each other. In my opinion, Henry Campbell, who plays Superman, was amazing. You really can't do much to really jack up Superman, which, well, in the Man of Steel, they kind of did him a little darker, but a lot of people weren't ready for that because, people usually see Superman as the Boy Scout. They see him as generic. They just see him, just simple. But if you really read some of his graphic novels and his stories, it kind of really shows you that burden he has to be just because he is Superman. But I ain't going to try to give him praise for that. I'm just really pissed off at some of the casting directors, what they had to do for him in his roles, and especially in the DC EU, they fired him, and he wasn't going to appear in any other superhero roles as Superman the next couple of years. So they just threw him out. So he's doing good now, doing films for Netflix and other series. But Jesse Eisenberg and Les Luthor, this remind me of a crackhead. This remind me of a crackhead and a fanboy because he was just too everywhere with the energy. He was trying to be, he was like that mad thinker, and I just, and that's another DC villain. But I couldn't stand him. I really couldn't stand Amy Adams as Lois Lane. But again, they just put her that generic, always calling for help. Always got to be the lady in danger. The damsel in distress. That's cool, but I just couldn't feel with it. The plot of Doomsday. Danny, you here? I don't even think he here. He probably ran off somewhere.
I hear you loud and clear, Mikey.
The plot of Doomsday. Would you say that was one of the highlights for you on the movie?
Get out of here.
Okay. So
I hated that movie, and that was the worst part. I agree 100%.
Let me tell you. So, and that's why I said they was throwing a lot of stuff and ideas onto this movie. And like I said, there's supposed to be a couple more villains in the movie. They're supposed to add the Riddler and the Joker. The Joker, they didn't figure out who because, a lot of stuff that happened. The Riddler, they just didn't feel like a lot of people wouldn't appreciate him having minor roles. But again, there was rumors going on saying Jesse Eisenberg was supposed to be the Riddler. I could definitely see it. But the plot point when Batman and Superman were fighting and they had to resurrect General Zod's body as Doomsday was one of the worst piece of crap I've ever seen on film. Because, like I said, when it comes to superhero movies, and especially when it comes to conflict with superhero movies, they always want to have a major plot point or a twist, or they got to have a major, a villain or a side character that kind of steals away that tension or kind of adds more into it. Like I said, the main mastermind of the whole movie was Lex Luthor, and towards the end, he kind of lost. But I don't know what the directors were thinking or the writers of adding toward the end of the movie, the last 30 minutes of the movie, hey, let's resurrect a dead alien's body and turn it into a killing machine monster, alien monster. I don't know. Of course, superhero films, of course they're gonna be some of them gonna be like science fiction. Of course they're fiction, but that was bad fan fiction. That's all it was to me. That's all I saw. And and if any of y'all got a problem with y'all should already know I love Doomsday. Okay, I love Doomsday. But if any of y'all representing and loving Doomsday from the 2016 Batman versus Superman, yeah, I need a physical address of y'all's house. I can go over there and slap some sense into y'all because I don't know what y'all was thinking with that CGI, with the bad lighting, the bad special effects, the bad whole point and plot of that monstrosity was going to be a good idea or thought, yeah, that's really amazing, that's really good. Um, and I don't want to hear this crack because people on these group texts they was like, well, during that time they didn't have a lot of good special effects. They said it was 2016. They said DC was really limited on the special effects. Get out of here. I was like, if y'all remember the Batman versus Superman movie back in 2014, they had really good special effects, and that movie was just 2 years apart. If y'all freaking look at Avatar back in 2009 with freaking James Cameron, they had phenomenal special effects. That's still one of the best movies you can talk about special effects. Okay, you got movies back in 2016, 2015, 14, 13. You got a movie back in the 1990s that has still good special effects and CGI than the crap that they did with Doomsday and the Batman versus Superman. So don't ever justify about that. And then people were like, well, it costs a lot of money with CGI and acting. They had a $300 million budget. I could understand they got a limit on a lot of stuff, but if you can't have good special effects or CGI for one of the biggest DC villains and monsters, don't put them in. Do not put them in. And that's really kind of getting on me is where with DC feel a little hesitant, especially when it comes to comics. Oh, they cut it off. But if it comes to movies, they'll be like, we'll try to milk it and try to keep it going. And then people got to get on me, but like, well, they always got to do something new and fresh. You know how many times we got to redo Batman? You know how many times we got to redo Batman? And people get on me with Marvel. They redid a lot of Marvel characters. Oh, for sure. That's what I said. The Incredible Hulk. With Marvel back when he came out, the Hulk in 2004, and then you got the Incredible Hulk in 2007, and then you got Mark Ruffalo playing the Incredible Hulk in the Avengers movie. That's three different actors, and the Hulk period. But they had to keep doing it, try to, they had faith and just kept improvising, and that's what I said. They had a plan. That's the only thing I don't like when it comes with Marvel. At that time they had plans, they had steps of what they wanted to have a path for, and the stuff they had. You know, DC starting off their path and their plan with a superhero versus superhero fight was totally not a good idea because they had to throw so much stuff, so much reference, so much minor details, so that regular fans can see and it gets them hyped up. Then they can start doing more funding and research, and then they can get more you know monies and ideas for the next movie. They did not do it right. They did not do it right. Again, a lot of people loved Christopher Nolan Batman series for real. The Batman trilogies back in the early the mid 2000s, which is good. They really did, especially of course with the Dark Knight trilogies was amazing, and a lot of people still just say it's one of the best ones. Hey, do you? Like I said, with Ben Affleck playing as Batman, like I said, he actually had to put in some work into being Batman. So that's something that I can finally, I agree. If you put in good work, you'll get, good process and, good funding. But since the movie did so bad with reviews and then settings, they cut him off. They cut off, Ben Affleck, and that was it. They cut off Henry Cavill. They cut off the main actors for Batman and Superman just because their movie didn't do so well, and then they had budget problems, and they just didn't feel confident in their next projects. So that shows me how little faith DC had at that time with some of their stuff. Well, they still got little faith too with some of the stuff right now, especially in the comic business. But it pissed me off. But people, of course, we're gonna have plenty of opinions about movies. Y'all should already know, especially with some of these videos that y'all see me and hear me talking about. Um, That's what I said. I love DC, but like I said, it's a love hate relationship because it's some stuff that they pull is just wow. Now the biggest highlight, especially with the Batman versus Superman, of course, was with Wonder Woman. They had Gal Gadot. She did amazing, and then when she did her solo film, it did phenomenal, and people loved it. And I feel like if they started doing, they had a Batman. I mean, excuse me, they had a Superman solo film back in 2004. There wasn't no really Batman solo film yet for the DC cinematic universe. So of course they just threw him in the Batman versus Superman. But then after the whole conflict, then they started to do a Wonder Woman by itself, and then they did Aquaman. Aquaman was really good too, and people were astounded. They was like it's different than what they would think a DC movie can pull, and especially when it came to actors. Like with Jason Momoa, I heard about him in a couple small roles, but when I heard him being Aquaman, I was like, I don't see it. And then I was like, who can portray Aquaman? But they had a leap of faith, and they just started doing what they can do, and it did real good. It really did. A lot of people, still have positive reviews and feelings about the Aquaman film. Like I said, it was like a lighthearted adventure, and then it kind of got really serious, but then it kind of went dramatic, but then it felt really good. It was a really good movie, but when it came with the Batman versus Superman, of course, DC is known for stuff being dark, gritty, poor lighting. Trust me, most of these DC films that you see, there's always got to be poor lighting, or there's always got to be an overcast, a shadow, a storm. Everything's got to be a little bit dark. Everything got to be dark, dark. And you can break away and make a movie that ain't got to be dark, dark. And what I mean by that, I'm not just talking about themes. I'm especially talking about lighting because if everything's all dark and shadows, I'm just gonna get bored. And I'm gonna fall asleep straight up because it's pointless. It really is pointless when you gotta do so much stuff and you gotta repeat like that. But at that time, that's what they wanted to do, and like I said, they had to cut a lot of stuff out. That even when they went to DVD release, they added 30 extra minutes, the director's cut. They said and then they said the DVD release was better than the actual movie. Like, how y'all gonna do that? But then, especially when it came with them and fighting, you know, it can be, with Batman. That's one of the biggest debate is the Batman, versus Superman. Who will win in the actual fight? People say Superman for sure. People say Batman for sure. If you ask me, it is up to the writers. Just because these are some of the most complex characters that you can write in literature, because I don't even say just comic book. I would actually say literature, just because you can do a whole presentation and project about the psychological problems that Bruce Wayne has, the humanity and heart that Superman has, and you can just go on about that. So if a lot of people they were like, well, a lot of people like, well, it's going to end in a tie, or they were like, Batman's going to win. Batman's going to win. I was like, hey, I would like you got one of the most powerful beings as Superman, and that's what I say. He straight up can just throw him to the sun and it fights over like that. But he don't have it in him. Of course, he doesn't have it in him. He's always a good person. But like I said, if he had that point to snap, he can do it. But then again, that's to say he has humanity, he has faith, so he'll always try to let Batman kind of ease it in. Or with Batman, he can always have that driving edge to kill him. To something with kryptonite, just go crazy, or just weaken him enough and break his morals and his morality, and be like, I won psychologically. So if it was a battle with brute strength, Superman. If it was a battle with minds, Batman. If it was like an overall playing field, it can be either or, and that's what I say. It can be up to the writers and directors. The fight when it laid out in the Batman versus Superman, that fight was like 5 minutes. So it was like watching I seen boxing match and MMA fights better than that. You're gonna have hours of just hyping stuff up, pre-matches, pre-games, and stuff like that, and then the actual fight might last 30 seconds, 10 seconds, a minute, stuff like that. But when you got 5 minutes of this nonstop fighting and conflict, and then, oh crap, I forgot. What made him stop the fight was with the Martha situation. I I don't man. I'm gonna get on this. I'm gonna get on this. Give me time. I don't know what again that's been going on with these writers' minds. I don't know who the script writer was. I will shoot him in the foot and cut off his hands. I don't know what made it a good idea for them to say, "Hey, let Superman while he's kind of dying or struggling now yell out the name of his mother, and that's gonna have Batman trigger a PTSD of his old dead mother and say, why'd you say that name? Why'd you say that name? Martha. My mama's name is Martha too. Okay, your mom's in trouble. We gotta stop all this fighting, all this conflict, all this build up and this lead up. We gotta stop everything so we can go save your mother. I don't know what the hell they was thinking. I don't know what the hell that was. That was his that was garbage. That was garbage because I don't know. I do not know the whole Martha situation. If like I said, they could have changed the plot. They 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 could have done so much. They could have done so much, Daniel. They could have done so much with that movie. You know, if they wanted to use the Doomsday as that big plot device to make them stop fighting, they could have done that. They could have had, Lex Luthor gloating like he was, like a crazy fan base, to kind of watch, and then they can kind of show that he was plotting stuff. They had Lois Lane in the middle of the fight, kind of watching it, and then, of course, she ran up, trying to stop him. That's the name of his mother. She straight up could have talked to Batman while they was fighting, because Superman would have stopped, or even Superman. This is what they could have done. Lois Lane was at the scene of the battle. Batman and Superman, they're fighting it out, they're duking it out, they're about to kill each other. Something's gonna go crazy. If they did a scene where Batman say he accidentally injured Lois, of course that's gonna drive Superman to a rage, or it's gonna really shake him. They could have gone two plots with that. If they showed him that rage, he could have beat Batman and sustain him and suspend him, and then before he goes crazy for the kill, he'll go back and he got to comfort Lois, and then Lois is going to tell what's happening, what's going on. Then that could trigger Batman to be like, okay, he was wrong. He hurt an innocent life, stuff like that. Or if he was about to, Batman was about to injure Lois by accident, Superman jumps in the way, defends, Lois, tries to be the good person, and then that kind of shakes Batman like, whoa, like what's going on? Who's this and that? And then they could explain it, point simple like that. But choking Superman, having him strained out for his life, yelling at the mother, the name of his mother being kidnapped, Martha, and then make Batman yelling out, "Why'd you say that name?" I didn't like. I don't like is dislike is too easy for it. Hate is too easy for it. I loathe and despise the idea of this him, Superman just dying out or struggling out, yelling the name of his mother, and then that somehow triggered Batman's PTSD of him to be like, okay, why'd you say that name? How'd you know about that name? I gotta stop. This is making him, this is making me sad. What's going on? Let me stop everything. That was leading up of him, having a hatred for Superman, superhumans, and let's figure out what's going on. Why'd you say the name of that mother? Because hey, guess what? I have a mother named Martha too, but she's dead. So I that's another killer plot point that made no gosh darn sense, because I don't even know what they was thinking. I don't even know what they was doing with that. That's bullcrap. I can be a little bit okay with crackhead, fanboy Jesse Eisenberg and Lex Luthor. I can be a little bit okay with the damsel in distress, always shouting out, Clark's name to Superman, Amy Adams. I would not be okay. I will say because I would not be okay with CGI Doomsday. Well, I definitely would not be okay. Of the biggest plot point that kind of suspend and stop the fight is because Superman struggling for his life, and he got to shout out the name of his mother just to kind of stop and wake up and shake Batman. I don't. No, I don't. That was just no. So yeah, that's no. I just realized I'm about to be 35 minutes in, and I'm just feeling really sad. Just thinking about all the stuff going through my head, especially reliving and rewatching this movie, because I watched it about an hour and a half ago, and I still despise it. because I was like, I'm gonna give it a chance. I'll eat my words. Let me watch this movie again. Try to pass the time. Try to figure. Maybe I'm missing something. Let me get more into it. I didn't get nothing into it. I got more stuff taken out of me. I got my soul drained. That's how I felt. I just. You ever got kicked in the nuts, Danny? Oh man, he ain't probably hear me. I got kicked in the nuts just watching that movie. It was
Wow.
yeah, there you go. You
I'm
been you
sorry.
been you've been quiet on me. You've been quiet. So I didn't shoot. That's what I said. I can all this look, we can have about 2 minutes of silence, just me just kind of like looking up to the sky, just thinking about all the bad choices I had to do or stuff that could have been of that movie because that was just that's complete crap. I'm sorry because like I said, a lot of people they will defend it. Y'all can defend it for real, for real. People can always get on me, especially like I said, one of my favorite DC movies was The Dark Knight. There's plenty of people that they can get on me about it. They say they don't like it. I completely understand. Was that movie ahead of its time? Oh, for sure. Do not even get on me with that. If this movie came out this year, oh man, if the Dark Knight came out this year, oh my gosh, people would be so paranoid and scared right now because of how one person can take control of a city and just go crazy with it, and especially with isolations and people panicking. Ah, don't even get on me. If the Batman trilogy movies came out uh, within the with the late 2010s or the early 2020s, heck no, people would not be ready for that. People be spazzing. But I try to give it a chance because again, like I said, the Batman versus Superman was like the startup, the phase one for the DC cinematic universe. Right now, all their movies and the stuff that they got planned is on pause. Of course, what's been going on with the COVID-19. Um, yeah, the news actually hit a couple days ago. I want to say about 3 or 4 days ago. You hear about the new Batman movie they're supposed to be have coming out in the late 2020s.
Isn't that the one with what's his name? That young
Robert
guy?
Pattinson.
Who?
Robert Patterson, yeah, the Twilight dude that
Yes,
played, yeah.
yes, yes.
So they postponed it. They postponing that, pushed that movie back into October 2021. So, and a lot of people are still fighting over it. About it. A lot of people don't know if Robert Patterson will make a good Batman. A lot of people are upset that they keep, they're doing another Batman movie. And then, a lot of people are having positivity. They're like, okay, this is gonna be a younger, Batman. He can be, reach another audience. It can be good. It could be da 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 da. Right now, since a lot, the production, of course, is on hold. Right now, my hopes are a 50-50, but it's starting to put a little bit towards the negativity. But one thing, like I said, if you're gonna do a superhero movie or the role, and if you really want to get into it, it's acting. That's all you got. It's acting. You in a movie, you gotta act. You gotta play the role. You gotta really have fun and be in a role. A lot of people, if they do roles that they don't like, you can kind of see it, or they can be that good of an actor you don't see it at all. But when it comes to superhero films, if you actually put if you put your hard work and your love and passion to it, oh, it'll turn out great. That's one of the stepping stones. But when you got bad writers and then producers and then plot points, you can be the best actor you can, but if it's bad plot, it's going to be crap. Cause that's just how it is this day and age when it comes with especially superhero movies. A lot of people don't want to see the generic. A lot of people want to see the generic. The superhero versus the supervillain. Of course, people want to see the good guy versus bad guy. Good guy versus good guy. Good guy turns bad guy. It's basic plot ABCs of how you can choose that genre, what it can do. But with Robert Patterson being Batman, of course, there's been a couple of interviews. He's really interested in it, and then of course, he has doubts. He has doubts about himself being as Batman because it's a big role to play. But if he puts his hard work and he works into it, like Ben Affleck did in Batman, then I think he'd do pretty good. But right now, I don't know. But you can I shouldn't always I say you shouldn't always judge, but some of these, yeah, these actors' choices to be in superhero films, especially with the DC, yeah, no, I don't, I don't like any, yeah, I don't like any of them. It was this, yeah, that Batman vs Super movie. They just, yeah, I don't know what they was thinking. They just did bad. People were still, people were still defending. They was like, man, they made their money though. They made, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. They broke even from their box office. I said, yeah, they broke even. I was like, they need to do. They at least should have done make twice or especially three times as much than they should have done as, you know, pre-production, production, and post-production. So especially when it comes with marketing, you know how many millions of dollars Warner Brothers put out to get that film out in trailers, marketing tools, just putting on different stuff, and then they didn't make enough to recover from that. Please, please, that's just. Mm-mm. That was just, yeah, no, one of the, the lowest decline in box office rate, the second worst. When it, on their second week had an 81% decline. No, no, I couldn't feel for it. And then, like I said, I already had a bad experience when I tried to watch it first. But then, I gave it a second chance. I didn't even watch it the second week. I probably watched it my third or fourth weekend, and I couldn't get into it. I really couldn't. So, for all the people that love that movie, a lot of people are probably gonna be messaging me. I see my phone lighting up saying I'm probably trash, or they don't dislike it, or they just gonna be trolls with it. Hey, just throw your hate. But you know, I had a bad week. I had a crappy week. I was just like, all right, let me just watch some stuff, binge some shows. Let me get all my stuff ready, especially for the big book bros. But people's like, nah, I don't respect DC enough. I was like, I really don't. Like I said, I love Marvel and I do love DC. I really do. I love IDW. I love Image Comics. I love Dark Horse. I love all the other stuff that produce. But I love my anime and mangas. But you'll have opinions on different stuff of what's going on. But like I said, especially on my Damage episode, if y'all watched that, I was hurt. They had a really good project. What they was going on, but it was marketing it towards something different, and they just cut it off. They cut off that series, they cut off that event, they cut off a lot of stuff, and they didn't want to finish it up. When it comes to Marvel and their con, oh yeah, there's been plenty of stuff that they didn't follow through. There's a lot of stuff and events that didn't do well, that didn't do good. They weren't interesting. Same thing with DC, but when it comes with movies, yeah, you definitely will see the huge difference between Marvel and DC, and that's what I said. With Marvel, they do give opportunities. They really, really do. And of course, they'll throw a wild bone. They'll throw a wild catch. They'll do something different. They'll always try to do something unique. But of course, they do stuff bad. They'll fire directors. DC. Marvel, DC. All movies do that. They'll try to change stuff last minute. Of course. But they give more chances than I would say for DC, because the DC see something that's going to go bad, and they don't. They be like, we don't know. They'll cut you off. If you're not on board, they'll cut you off. They'll kick you out. They'll fire you. They'll be like, mm-mm. But who knows? They'll change. They'll have more opportunities once this world gets back, get back together. That's what I said, especially with this entertainment business. A lot of stuff with comics, animated movies. A lot of stuff that's been on hold, canceled, postponed. Once everything starts flowing, going back again, it'll change. It'll change for the better. But we will see. But that right there was my I say little rant of my for the Batman versus Superman. Just the reason why I dislike it. My issues, like I said, with the plot, the acting choice for show, and then the budget, the CGI, the special effects, the plot. It was just crazy. But even with that, one side note, even with that bad startup of that movie, they still made really good solo films. Like I said, Wonder Woman was amazing in solo film. So was Aquaman. So that was two really good solo films too. They said they want to do a Flash solo film. I think was it 2021 or 22. I can't remember the actor that's supposed to play Barry Allen. I really don't remember much of him. The black hair kid in the Justice League movie. My opinions, I don't see that as my Barry, but they could change it. He could do better. He might do something. I don't know. A lot, like I said, a lot of stuff when it comes with these movies, everything's on hold, postponed. Last thing I know is that new Batman reboot is supposed to be coming out October 2021, and then they got Robert Pattinson playing him, so that was a huge shock because a lot of people did not expect that. I didn't either, but we'll see. So that's just it. So yeah. Boss man, what you got? I know you got something on you. This get your little rage out, get your little de-stress. What you want to talk about?
Um. Uh. Well, start off on a good note. I finished both my comic books.
Hey,
They were different, but this isn't that show. But I'm excited to pick
yeah.
up what I'm gonna read next. But my rant, man, I agree with you on a lot of things, mostly everything. I can't think of something I disagree with you on when it comes to the Batman versus Superman. I really they did too much. They tried to mix some of the best stories, and tried to be like. I feel like they just tried to like they just shot a shotgun and like
Try to
just
see something
shot
hit.
a third shot and just tried shooting a bunch of stuff at you and was like, oh, something's gonna stick. And I really felt like, man, I love Doomsday. Doomsday to me is my favorite Superman villain, and I really feel like they could have made an amazing movie just off of Doomsday and Superman,
There you go.
or Doomsday and the Justice League, because
Yep.
at the Superman, there was several people, Superwoman died, you know, um, so did Blue Beetle, um, and no, it wasn't Blue Beetle, it was Booster Gold. Maybe
Booster Gold.
died too. Did Blue Beetle die? I can't.
Uh, in the original, yes, because Booster Gold was the one that named him Doomsday. He was the one that named Doomsday.
Yeah, I
Blue
didn't know Booster Gold died, but did
Blue
Blue?
Beetle. Nah, Blue Beetle. I think he died of a heart attack or cancer. I think. Don't get me wrong, because Blue Beetle, he's best friend with Booster Gold. I don't know. Maybe he did die in that one. I
I know
don't know. But
Gold did, and I know Superwoman did. But
yeah,
Superman obviously did, and then they brought it back. But um, yeah, that's my favorite Superman story. So
yeah.
and I hated the way Doomsday looked. I didn't like. Same thing with you. I didn't like. Um,
The plot of just bringing him.
no,
I don't, and that's what. And you said it perfectly. You said a shotgun. They just wanted to hit everything, or I see it as a shotgun. They wanted to hit one thing, but that's what I said. It just kept going. It just kept going out. Like I said a little bit earlier, if they had, when it comes to superheroes, a conflict, those type of movies, friend versus friend, they're always gonna have, like I said, that mastermind, that plot device, that change, or who's that outer aspect that gets into it. That's what I say. From the beginning of the movie, we knew Lex Luthor was in control of the whole
and I
situation.
didn't like him either.
I know. When I say crackhead fanboy, that's all he was acting. That's all he was acting. But that we saw that he was crazy, but we also saw he was always in control because he's the one that set up the fight. He was the one that pushed Superman to the edge. He was the one that put Batman to the edge. But he just set him up. But it was like, he was making those weird quotes, gods versus mans, all these weird stuff. And then he was like, well, let me make a monster. And I was like, where this coming from? I was like, don't do that. If you're gonna have two major villains, don't have it towards the last 20, 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, and
You
they
know
did
what I'm saying?
because then they had Zod in the mix, so it was like
Right,
three villains.
right.
Zod, Doomsday,
God.
Lex Luthor.
And
I,
see,
I,
and that's why I was like, you couldn't do that. That's what's like you had that's what's like the biggest villain. Oh, one of the biggest villains besides Darkseid in DC is going to be Doomsday, and besides Superboy Prime. But those are like the three biggest bad boys. They're hard to kill. They'll keep coming back. It's like you can't do stuff like that. But same thing you said, it was a shotgun. It was a straight up shotgun. They'll see what was going to hit, or they was trying to hit everything and just try to piece it together. And it was like no, it was straight up no. And that was like I already said they could have done better without him, without the Doomsday, and that's what I say.
Oh
They
yeah,
could have gone with they could have gone with the cliche. Lex Luthor is just like, man, bravo, I'm doing this. He's getting killed, and I already told you what they could have fixed with the Lois Lane situation. Her keep popping up and yelling for help, for help, for help. If they put her in danger again and see what they could have done with that, then yeah, they'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. They'll see what they were going to do. And that's another thing. Because I was trying to regress, and it's going back to you. Batman was having it's going to have that. He was having them nightmares and those night terrors of the future. The world was in danger, and it was trying to show you the future where Superman was under control by Darkseid. Superman was evil, and he's like, I gotta fix this. I gotta get rid of them now. And I was like, y'all shouldn't have done that because now you're showing another villain, another big villain, Darkseid taking over Superman. Superman becoming evil and brainwashed, and now I can understand that's his drive of Batman being afraid and him having fear. So he's like, I gotta get rid of Superman now, but. Yeah, they was everywhere. Oh yeah, they was everywhere. It was crap of how they executed. Then they cut off more stuff that would have made it better. And it was this. Yeah, let me stop. Go. You just start going. Just start going
yeah
because I'm gonna get back into it. I'll start going
they,
on.
they just did too much. They should have just stuck to one villain, and I think it would have been a lot better. Because honestly, I really enjoyed all of the other movies. I really liked Aquaman. I really liked Wonder Woman. I really liked Justice League. I like the Flash. I talked a lot of junk about it, about him particularly. I was like, and even Cyborg. Not as much about Cyborg because I was like, we'll see. But the Flash, I was like, he looks ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
don't.
not
The little
look.
bit they showed on the trailer, I was
That's
like,
not my Barry Allen.
I was like, I don't like him, but I really liked them. I really liked them, and I'm really looking forward to seeing. Hopefully, they come out with the movie with the Flash because I really felt bad because I was like, dang, I talked a lot of junk about him. I was like, they got this nerdy dude about to be the Flash. Like, I don't like it, but when I watched the movie, honestly, he was my favorite part. I like the Flash the most about Justice League. I really liked the movie, but I did not like Batman versus Superman. I have it because I have all the DC movies on Blu-ray, but I hate that movie, and I am not difficult like to be pleased when it comes to DC and Marvel movies. I like the majority of them. I like pretty much everything people hate. I loved
Yeah,
Green Lantern. I loved the Phantom Menace when it comes to Star Wars. Jar Jar Binks is my favorite character out of the Phantom Menace, and people think I'm lying. People are like, oh,
yeah.
you're joking. I'm like, I'm dead serious. I love him. He was exactly what he needed to be, and if it wasn't for Jar Jar Binks,
It would be nothing but politics. It was nothing but space politics, and
well, that too. But if Jar Jar Binks pretty much is the one that helped link um Naboo with the Gungans. So if it wasn't for the Gungans, everything would have fell apart. So pretty much, if it wasn't for Jar Jar Binks, we wouldn't have a lot of these people that we love in Star Wars. It would have never existed because Anakin would have just been a slave his whole life, and who knows what would have happened. But back to my rant, Star Wars. I really don't like the way Disney took them with episode 7, 8, 9. I like the seventh one. I like the eighth one a little bit less. And then I like the ninth one. I hated the ninth one. I just hated it. How pretty much I'm spoiling it. How they wrote Rey and her. No, they're not cousins. No, they're not cousins. They're
grandfather to granddaughter.
No, because Rey is Palpatine's daughter.
Granddaughter.
You're right.
Granddaughter. Yeah.
But they're not related. Rey and
I
forgot his name. The guy that's Han Solo's son and Princess Leia's son.
Rey and Kylo. They were supposed to be twins. Was that right? No.
No, that was the legend stuff from Star Wars. Yeah, but not what Disney went with it. Disney went with it. They're not related at all, and just pretty much just killing him because he was the last of the Skywalkers. So it's like they just. I just didn't like it, dude. I really just hated it. I didn't like it all, most of it. There was very small things I liked. Finn was one of my favorite people. I know a lot of people didn't like Finn. He kind of got annoying. I'm not gonna lie. But in the beginning, I thought Finn was the Jedi, and I was
He's
like,
gonna be the Rising. Yeah,
I
that's
love it. And then when I found out Rey was the Jedi, I was like, oh man, like, and I don't know. I just don't like the way they wrote her. She's just like
she's
cruel.
a she's the
Like,
Mary Daniel. She was the Mary Sue. She had to be the leading lady to action. And let me say this real quick. I have no offense when it comes to female leads. Trust me. There's a lot of stuff that I like, especially artwork in mangas and anime. They're written by amazing females. Okay, when I talk about film, the way that they have portrayed Ray, you know, her rising from nothing, her being poor, but then this I would say that she just got power ups like that. That's one thing I couldn't understand, and I could completely didn't want to do. And then when it came with her and her training, I really didn't feel like she got her Jedi Master training. Because even in episode 9, she was still training, and then she learned about the dark side, and then it was like, okay, you got to go and you got to go here, conquer yourself, and that's it, and it's beat. Something really quick, and of course that's that cliche. Of course they always show the dark side. The dark side. You got to face your evil self. Even the episodes. The original trilogy, but her having those crazy power ups with the force heal, that's cool because there's plenty of Jedi that can do that. But just her going crazy with the force, even the first episode 7, her doing the Jedi mind trick, messing with clones and other people. It was like too advanced at her time, and that's what I said when it came with her and the training. You know, they butchered my man Luke Skywalker as a crazy hobo. They had him as a crazy
yeah.
hobo, and he was like, "I don't worry about it." And then they was flip flopping because even Mark Hamill, he had to redeem himself. Was like, "This is not how Luke Skywalker should be." But them not caring about the Force, and then them saying, believe in it, trust it. You're gonna be the last of the Jedi. Everything like that. Da 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 da. It was. Yeah, I don't know. My biggest thing with her, yeah, she didn't have a lot of character. I really wouldn't,
Yep.
because they was just throwing stuff out of nowhere. I really thought the biggest thing, episode 7 and 8 and 9, she was gonna have closure, or she was gonna figure out who her parents really were. They kept showing those flashbacks. They kept showing all the stuff that they wanted to do, but then it was like your parents got killed, and they got hired. There was a bounty hunter Jedi that killed your parents, and then they found out it was all a master plan by her grandfather.
My my bad, Michael.
Yo,
If I'm not mistaken, her
what's
dad
up?
was a clone.
Really?
If
Well,
I'm not mistaken, he cloned himself, and that's how she's his daughter. Yeah, yeah, yep.
okay.
He
Because ain't wasn't Ray's mother from Naboo?
I think you're right.
The
I
the,
have to
the,
look back. I have to
the,
look
the
back at it, but it was something like that. And I believe he cloned himself, and that I can't remember, man. But
But go ahead, keep going, cause yeah, I'm about to start talking over. Cause yeah,
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. That's what I really didn't like was the way they wrote her. I didn't like the way they wrote her. It what, and then too, like in comic books right now, it's the straight up truth. They're pushing politics like crazy, trying to push the feminist movement, and like almost all of the people in Star Wars, the leaders were all females.
mm,
And I mean, I'm not down with that because there's one particular movie that I can think of that I love, that almost everyone loves, and it's got a main leading role, which is a female, which is Aliens.
Ripley.
Yeah, and that's dope and all. But when you trying to push stuff and like force it down your throat, because I mean the general was Leia Organa. Then you had that other female. I think she was gay. She was the one leading
The
lead-
Rebels.
the leading the rebels, but leading the fleets, the
Yeah.
fleets. And it's like, dude, what happened to General Admiral Akbar? Like, I think his son was there. I can't remember. He was in it. But it's like, come on, man.
Akbar was at
the fish.
Oh, no, he wasn't there yet. Yeah, I was gonna say he was at a sanctuary with Leia, but they wasn't there yet. They were still in space. They didn't get to the sanctuary yet. You know, yeah, in episode 8, they didn't get to that little sanctuary. Yeah, so I was about to say he was hiding somewhere, but not yet.
But stuff like that just irritated me, man, because I felt like that. I really did. I felt like with Rey, I just felt like females, and I was like, and then they didn't make the characters good, so that really just pissed me off. Because I'm like, you're so busy trying to worry about pushing an agenda and politics that you're not telling a good story. You know, so that really pissed me off, man. It really made me upset.
You know, it was kind of crazy too with the because we're talking about episode.
One more thing. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
It really made me mad. The way that they made Luke Skywalker. It's like he gave up. Like, what the heck? Like, man, that really pissed me off. Finally, I'm waiting for him. He should have been in the freaking 7th movie, and we don't see him till the end, and we're all hype, and then we see him in the 8th. And like you said, he's a hobo. He's living out middle of nowhere, just feeling sorry for himself. And it's like, dude, this is freaking Luke Skywalker, man. Like, it just really upset me, dude. And I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan, and I'm not hard to be pleased. I love almost everything Star Wars. But when it came to the Disney, I was so happy. I'm not going to lie. I was one of the first because I was like, yes, they're going to make it right. They have all the money. They can do it.
Budget,
but I forgot Hollywood. Same thing with comics. It's like all of a sudden, man, they're starting to push these political agendas that the average person that's buying comic books is a white person. They don't even like it. They don't even like that crap. You know, so I don't know, man. I just was like that. And I was like, I don't like this crap. And I'm just really upset. And I made a wrong decision. I didn't know Disney would just start stooping down. I mean, I should have knew better. Because Hollywood does crazy. I mean, Hollywood, they do too. But Disney does some crazy stuff too. They've been doing crazy stuff for a long time.
That's why when I told you when I was back there, I told you back in 2019, Disney owned Disney's. If people don't realize Disney is a monopoly right now, y'all are lying. Y'all straight up lying. You don't understand how many networks Disney owns right now. You do not understand. Disney back in 2019, Disney when it came to Hollywood and Disney was producing and helped film and give money for production of like 30%, like 30 or 40% of Hollywood films. And a lot of people, oh, that's not bad. I said that is terrible bad. I said that is really bad. I said we're not even halfway. But I was like, that is bad, because you could, if you start putting funding for big projects like that, and then you can be like, hey, we'll cut off the money unless you do what we say.
Yeah,
and that's just terrible. And people are like, oh, it's only like 30 or 40%. Yeah, this is before Disney Plus. This was before Disney had bought Fox. This was before Disney had bought they had Marvel back then. This is before they got NBC. So it was scary. It really is. And so I don't think, I would like to lie to myself saying people wouldn't realize this, but people will. So because this is how we do stuff. That's to say, if y'all got opinions, that's okay. Trust me, that's the greatest thing about being online with the internet, especially being in America. You can have your opinion. You can talk whatever you want to talk, for real. But if you are lying to yourself. You don't think Disney is being a monopoly and being controlling, straight up. If you don't see that, then I don't know. Right now, you don't see it because stuff is on hold. Stuff is postponed. We ain't doing stuff, but it's scary. Really is. So I'm not going to be talking about Disney right now, because Disney might buy YouTube in a couple of months, and then they're going to take down everything that we post on here. So I don't want to do that. But you may never know. You may never know. But yeah, when it came with the Star Wars, and that's what I said, yeah, them pushing their agenda, especially with those, like I said, with leading female roles, it was yeah, they was pushing. That's what I said, straight up, they was pushing too hard, and that's what I say. What was your main plot point for it? And then I was like, how are you going to execute it? That's what I say. When you look, that's what I say. You already said one of the a cult classic. Yo, I gotta go. Well, what's up, D'Angelo? When you look at cult classic movies, and you already said that one of the best horror sci-fi alien movie, monster movie was Aliens, lead female, that, and they did it perfectly. They really did. But that's what I say. Your whole plot, what they
emphasize on the woman. Just emphasize and making a good story and
there you go.
Your character.
But
and I'm sorry, it wasn't like that with Finn. I mean, with Ray.
And see,
I don't like it. And Leia too. Because with Leia, she was like the leader, the woman in charge, and I was like, what? Like what? Like and then they raise Leia up, make her some great general, and what do they do with Luke Skywalker? They throw him in a ditch. I was like, dude, you've been leading up to this crap. First of all, I love Leia in the other movies. I should have loved them both. They should have both been amazing. Luke should have been doing his thing. He should have been on fire.
They were twins. They were the Skywalkers. They were the Skywalkers that was going to save the universe. Yes. Preach it. Yes. They were the, oh my gosh.
So,
you're right. You're right.
I mean, like I said, I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan. I've been watching it from the beginning. I've read plenty of comic books, which most of that stuff was retconned once Disney bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel was the first ones coming out with Star Wars comics. So I've read a ton of them. I follow the lore. I played almost all their video games. I've beat almost all of them. I'm just a hardcore Star Wars fan, man. So it really hurt my feelings, I love the old cartoons, the Ewok cartoons, the droid cartoons, all that stuff. So it's kind of like the majority of the fans, I guarantee you they'll agree with me. There's a few, maybe younger generations or the ones that finally were introduced to Star Wars by watching 7, 8, 9 that are just, I don't know, they grew up in this society where they're just brainwashed with transgenders and all this stuff and these 50 different, different options of humans, that they just, brain wiped to think that, oh, this is amazing. This is great. If you speak against this, you're anti-women. No, not at all. But like I said, I go back to what I was saying earlier. It's all about the story and be realistic. How many women are generals? Very few. So
let me put you right. Let me put you a hole on there too. And I think what really made it worse, like you said, with the that lady on episode 8 trying to lead the rebels off into space, they were getting attacked. It put in my mind, like when they were showing all those rebels, the cargos, and all the people in the escape pods getting killed off. In my mind, when I watched that movie, straight up, I was like, dang, she's a terrible leader. But see, that's not what they was trying to push. They was trying to push like, hey, she can be in charge. Hey, she'll take that sacrifice. Hey, she'll do what she need to do and, make the choices that no one else shouldn't take. I didn't see that from there. I saw it was like, wow, she's really bad as a leader. And then, she was selfish and then just rude, straight up rude to the other people. And I was like, no. And then people are like, well, she had to be rude because she had to be tough. And I was like, you can be tough and not be rude. You can be a strong, caring leader, but they was trying to put, and the irony here. The role that they try to put is what the roles you'll see in those basic war movies with the general dudes. I got to do this. Y'all don't listen to me. You go over there. And then towards the end, you escape. I'll stay behind. I'll take care of things. You know what I'm saying? No man left behind. But they like, you don't understand the blood that I shed. You don't understand the stuff that I've been through, I've seen. You're new, you're weak, this and that. And then they're like, okay, he has a heart of gold. That's what the irony. They try to separate from that, that stereotype, but that's what they put her into. And I was like, this is not what I want to see, especially when it came with suspense. I wasn't feeling no suspense in these Star Wars movies. A little bit in Episode 9, but it was like you knew the female was going to win. You knew something was going to happen. Especially when it happened. When it went with the Leia and General that was out in space getting hunted in Episode 8. You knew, okay, during that time, not in real life, in real life, Carrie Fisher, she did pass away. But at that time, the movie, in the production, you knew, Leia wasn't going to die just yet because, there was a couple things she hasn't accomplished yet. In Episode 8, she didn't see Luke yet. So I knew something told me she's not going to die yet when dude's out in space because she hasn't met Luke. You know what I'm saying? She hasn't seen her brother, in years. She needs to, she was going to train Ray. She wanted, continue the next generation of Jedis. Not Skywalkers yet, but Jedi. So I knew she was going to be okay, but they executed poorly what they was trying to do with these leads. And that's what I said. When you have Ray, the plot when it comes to the heroes, they don't have a parent or they have a bad past or they have a shady mystery, but they gotta grow up. They'll get mentored, they'll train, they'll fight adversaries, they'll overcome, they'll be the best that they can be. They just did terrible with that line. They did terrible. The biggest plot at the beginning of Episode 7 was like, okay, she needs to find her parents. She needs to figure this stuff out. What's going on? And then she finds out, okay, she can use the Force. Who am I? What's her identity? I feel it. I was feeling it. Episode 8 was not feeling it. Once they had hobo Luke Skywalker, once they had, her this straight up, falling, teach me the ways, and then, the crap that they pulled, her, using the Force, talking to Kylo Ren, and then was trying to have that communication. I'll help you. And I knew they was gonna fight, but then they may work together toward the end. Or maybe they'll fight. It's something that's going to happen. It happened to both. They fought, they went together, and then they fought. It was like, make up your mind, for real. But, them talking through the Force was something that I was like, okay. But it felt like an awkward phone call, which I was watching, when they was trying to like, hey, I know what happened with you, Kylo Ren, there's still good in you. There's still the light side of the Force. But then Kylo's going to, no, you don't know about you or your past. There's dark in you. And I'm like, what y'all gonna do, kiss? Episode 9 happened, right? Episode 9 happened. We ain't gonna talk about the relationship in the Star Wars movie because that was just some BS on top of BS that no. I would not give you the pleasure of me renting off on that because I'm starting to sweat up. And this is supposed to be your part. Of the rant, but
it upset me as well.
Yeah, we ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna talk about.
I was hoping they got together, and that didn't happen.
There were so many ships, dude. There were so many ships they was trying to do. They were like Ray and Finn, or they were like Ray and the other pilot, the one that gave
yeah.
Poe, Ray and Poe, but then they were like, nah, Finn's gonna go with the Asian girl. Chow? Was it Chow?
Did he? I don't even remember.
No, he started in Episode 9. They knew there was tension because Poe was like, you need to worry about your girl, and then he ain't talking.
Like him, right? Huh? The Asian chick like Finn, right?
Yeah. So, because they was trying to show their romance in Episode 8. Him, joining the Rebel Alliance, and then even with her, was like, that's another. Nope, I gotta talk about this. So in Episode 8, the biggest thing we was talking about the last 20 minutes, was about the rebels were escaping out in space. You had all those female, leaders. Poe was on Poe was on that ship. He needed he was trying to he got trash talk because all the female generals like, nah, you don't, you need to know your place. You need listen to us.
Yeah.
So I want to say Chow. I might be butchering. I couldn't remember her
I
name.
think you're right. I think it is Chow.
Remember, if you remember this, Chow had a sister, right? And she
Yep.
was like a suicide bomber. She gave her that necklace. It was like, we're gonna die for the cause. We're gonna die for the Rebel Alliance. We're gonna do what we gotta do. And that was in her blood. You know, she was like, I'm gonna die for the next cause. I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna make them pay. You know, I'm gonna do everything. I said, oh, we got conflict now. You know, and I thought they were going to show conflict because Finn was a former stormtrooper, so I thought they was going to have little issues. But then, you know, they'll get back to, you know, they'll kind of have a romance, and I was like, you can go that route. There's been plenty of stuff that does that. Towards the end of the movie, episode 8, when Finn was trying to be a suicide bomber on the drone, freaking Chow, remember Chow smashed into his vehicle, and they messed up on that suicide attempt because Finn was trying to blow himself up, but then Chow was like, love can conquer all. Yep. I said, what kind of BS is that crap? I said, nah. I said, that's a Disney princess film. I said, and then episode 9, they weren't even together. I said, oh hell. I said, nope. I said, nope. I said I wasn't gonna talk about how to get out my system. I said, nope. So if y'all gonna do stuff and have people lead and do a major cause, do not switch up or forget about the main stuff that they did the previous episode, the previous event, because that was this complete bomb of a crap, man. That was, oh my gosh. Hold up. I need to take this hoodie off. I'm sweating, man. Hold up.
You're good.
Oh shoot. Oh. Man, I need you to talk. You can't let me take over your
Are you good? I pretty much said what I had to say. You know, it wasn't much. It was just, those two things really just ticked me off. Luke Skywalker looking like a little pansy, then making him a little pansy after he freaking was the strongest Jedi of the time. He's gonna go become a hermit crab, go isolate himself, and just that just really ticked me off. And then, like I said, I didn't like the direction they went with it. I didn't like how they was, pushing that feminist down our throats, and they didn't give us characters that really resonated to us.
Nope.
Like I said, Finn and Poe Dameron, I really like them. But again, in the second movie with Finn, they pretty much didn't even need Finn in the movie because he was irrelevant.
They really did.
Poe and Chow. Finn and Chow. I was like, what the heck? You got us chasing these people all hyped up to what they're doing, and then at the end, it was pointless. So I was real disappointed, and then watching the third one to be let down and see Kylo Ren die, I was just like, what the freak? The whole Star Wars legacy,
the Skywalker legacy,
over with. The Skywalkers is over with, So, and then what they did was
Rey changed her name.
Rey became Skywalker. Rey Skywalker. Like,
hell no.
With that.
This ain't no Murray. This ain't no daytime television. Yeah. I'm gonna legally change my name to Skywalker. What in the no?
So that's pretty much wraps it up why I was upset. Do I have them? Yes. Will I keep them in Blu-ray? Yes, unfortunately. Because they do have some good aspects. Because I'm a Star Wars fan, but
special effects
I definitely don't like the direction it went, and I'm not a fan of the overall story.
And that's why with the director, he got so much. Oh, what's up, Colton? Man, you missed about an hour 20 minutes of us ranting. What's up, Colton? We doing good. I'm trying to calm down. We talking about our issues. How would I get my aggressive? Hold up. Let me finish this up real quick, and then Daddy could probably answer you on that one. Yeah, they a lot. Yeah,
I'm about to get off here soon because I'm about to eat peach cobbler.
You good? Yeah. So well, real quick, we had Chris Jones. I had a question. I'll answer that real quick. Well, let me just wrap this up. Yeah, with our our issues with the our biggest issues with the Batman versus Superman and the Star Wars episode 7 through 9. Straight up, they just went crazy with the story, or they didn't give the right stuff to the right actors and right characters. They added stuff that they didn't need to add, or they added too much stuff into it. That goes for both of the movies. Um, Batman versus Superman really didn't have much of an agenda at that time during 2016, but definitely, definitely the Star Wars. Oh, for sure they did. Um, and it was this end. Like I said, I just watched the movie Batman vs Superman. Shoot, I even got the DVD of it. So I ain't gonna lie, I got the Man of Steel on my old iPod. I love that movie. I downloaded that. I downloaded the movie when it first came out online. I loved it. I it's a love hate relationship I got with the DC Cinematic Universe. Danny, you already heard about him and his issues with Star Wars. I also love Star Wars, even with the stuff that they put with the movies. We talked about a little bit, what's going on with companies and ideas and what's this happening. I already told you my opinions on how they could change some stuff, so that's just how we're going to be. Um, Real quick, Chris Jones, if you're still listening, you might need to go to different playlist videos on this channel because he should have other tips when it's regarding for breeding for your dogs. Um, there, one.
Oh, I can answer that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, because I was going to tell him some other
Pretty
stuff.
much muzzler. I've seen an old school breeder. He took the leash off of the dog and just tied the leash around their mouth. I have a stand. You can, strap them down to the stand because I bred an aggressive female to a dog in Tennessee, and the lady was worried that, she would attack her stud, and if she pretty much would have bit his genitals, she could have destroyed him. And you're messing with people's money, so it's like you don't want to take no chance. So you can do those two things, and
you can do AIs if you feel like your dog's gonna be too aggressive with that other dog. You could do an AI.
Yeah,
Just fill it up. And this is gonna be you and the dog, so hopefully she won't be too aggressive with you. But again, like you said, you can always tie the muzzle, and especially a stand, or make sure you can have kind of holders. Really, hold it still. Make sure she don't do crazy. To you or the other dog, because you need to protect yourself too. So I don't know, if your dog is a snapper, it really gets aggressive, try to bite. So just be careful with that.
But with that being said, I'm getting off, Michael.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool. I need this rant. I'm sweating. I'm just it's whatever. This isn't an episode. This is not an official episode of Big Book Bro. This is a little rant stuff I had to get off my chest. He had to get stuff off his chest. So this tough. Just follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat, Big Book Bros. I'll be posting some screenshots and what I'll be talking about for Saturday's episodes. We'll be on Saturday, same time around 9 p.m. Saturday.
I'm ready. I done read both my comic books, and I'm ready to talk about them. It's not gonna be a rant, but y'all just have to stay tuned to see. And I'm already excited to see what I'm about to go downstairs and figure out what I'm about to read next.
Bet. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Oh man.